Dang, dude, never mind. I was gonna say, I wish I could post up an iPad. That way I could throw and still see some of the questions coming in. Am I left-handed right now? Oof. Dream come true right here. Yeah, so Wi-Fi doesn't connect out here, but we're gonna grind it. What's going on? I have some questions that I need to get to that I didn't get to video today, so I'll get to those in a second after I pepper this bottom string 2 more times. Oh, that could have been bad. What's up? I'm throwing to my rebounder thing. Rocket Sports, man. Big partnership there. All right, let's go. Where's the question thing? What up, dude? How you been, man? What's going on? Is your season bang too? What's advice that I'd give to a young pitcher with the yips? So I know I say this a lot, but go to my website. I have a whole pitching talk segment on the yips. So I would say to go to that, and then if there's any other questions that you have after you check that out, be sure to email me. So we had online as well. It's people are still going, but they're just avoiding the beginning, shake hands with everyone. Postponed. Well, that's good. I guess it's better than getting canceled, right? Done till April 6th. Oh, they already gave you a date, huh? Yeah, the high school in my town right now, they just got banged. How much do I trust my Rapsodo? It's like with any data, right? Like, there's going to be some times where it misreads. It's like with anything. I think you can kind of get a really good estimate just based on averages. How do you fix? Sorry, dude, I didn't even get to that. Hey, big fan. Yeah, Pops was definitely up there. It's so funny too, because I take a lot of videos in what was his old office, and like all of his jerseys are there and no one says anything about it. How do you control your curveball? Just throw it more. I think you got to come up with cues and some things that you can always kind of go to that gives you that more confidence. How do you trust your changeup more? Kind of the same thing, right? You just throw it more. Changeup for me has always been a field pitch. It's always been my worst pitch, but that doesn't, stop me from throwing it as much. 3 days post TJ, dang, dude. Keep grinding. Best diet for building muscle: eat good food and train hard. Real man bun, dude. Let's go, dude. I don't know why, dude. Why is my beard so red right now? We're doing good, Josh. How you doing, man? Any tips to throw more strikes? Yeah, I think it's going to come down to identify the reason why you don't throw strikes in the first place, right? Like, is it in between the ears, or is it a physical thing that you need to adjust based on, your throwing mechanics? Thanks, Gage. Appreciate that, dude. What would be a good pitch number for a bullpen session in season? It's going to vary depending on starter, reliever, kind of what your goal is. Are you trying to build up volume? Are you trying to work on a specific pitch? Are you trying to sequence? There's a lot of things that kind of go with it. Best way to take care of your arm. That's where I kind of differ from a lot of people. There's a lot of like post-throw routines, which I have, but I kind of believe in, throwing more efficiently and building that volume and building the tolerance so your arm and your body can handle that. Greetings from Peru. Wow. Nice, dude. I appreciate the kind words. Always got to make sure you have your mind right. Absolutely, dude. Couldn't be bigger on that. How to fix release point issues. I think that's going to be a consistency thing, right? So I talk a lot about how sometimes, we see mechanical breakdowns that lead to inconsistencies, and, it's kind of on you or someone you hire to do your mechanical screening stuff to identify, where those breakdowns are occurring that are limiting you from being consistent with your release point. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. Change up high, try to stay back. Yeah, so that's a common thing with the change up, right? Like, what up, Trent? Common thing with a changeup is, like, even I do this a lot where I miss high. It's because we kind of get this subconscious thought in our head to like push the ball. We try to guide it instead of just really throwing it, right? It's so easy to sit there and say, oh dude, it's just a different grip, throw it like your fastball. Yeah, okay. So for me, what helps with my changeup is like setting my sights almost at like my catcher's foot and then that forces me to really finish it. I made a post about 200-foot changeups as well. That kind of just instills that, that motor control pattern of like, okay, I got to change up and I'm going to freaking let it eat, and just kind of keep being aggressive with that arm speed. How to increase velo, be intentional, try to throw hard, do the right things, check the right boxes. Greetings from Venezuela. Hey, how is it over there? How reliable is Dr. Heenan's 90-mile-an-hour formula? I mean, look at his track record, dude. He's got some absolute studs. Everyone that's, done his remote programming for X amount of months has come out a better athlete, healthy, recovers well. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Let me know if you want to dive into it, man. I can save you $100 off the onboarding fee. Just DM me and I'll get you that discount. What's my release point when I throw a curve? Sorry, I didn't really see the last one. How fast do I throw? Right now, probably like 30. It's cold. Long toss is key to good pitching mechanics. Yeah, I think again it kind of comes down to like instilling those patterns that you want, right? Anytime that we we see a target at a greater distance, our body organizes itself. Brenda, what up? Long time no wave. Whoa. Secret to throwing harder and more control. Ain't no secret, man. It's hard work. It's being intentional with the time that you do have. Finding things that work for you and sticking to those things. Consistency is key, man. Everyone can have a really good day, but it's about continually do it every single day. Work hard, grind. Some ways you can stay in tune for the break. Just play, man. I guess it is. I know it is different. I'm not trying to say that it's nothing has to drastically change, but still get out and get your work done. Obviously, it's going to vary depending on where you are with the weather and stuff. But any way you can. That's really what it comes down to. I know it's a cliche answer, but find a way. Any way you can get better. I gotta make a few throws because I'm getting cold. This thing's freaking awesome, and I did the little things wrong, so it's not as bouncy, which is probably good, right? I throw one and it hit me right in the face. It's all right. I'm ugly. It's fine. Okay. Wow, that was the first thing I read though. Paint myself green. It's in the fridge. I got a mosquito bite. There's no such thing as the fastest way to increase velocity. I think anytime that we want that instant gratification, we kind of go about it the wrong way. But as far as efficient ways to go, man, it's just hard work. There's no big secrets. It's about doing the right things. Like I said, checking the right boxes. That's why I wanted to put up that, create that ebook option for you guys, because everything in there is honestly what I would teach for someone. It's what I gone through. It's what allowed me to go through a couple injuries and come out the other side and still continue to throw pretty hard. So if you want to check that out, there's a discount code running right now. What's your pregame like? Pregame for start, bullpen, specific. Fastball velo, bullpens 90, 94, maybe a 5. Games 118. So young pitchers being athletes, I think, like I said in the Q&A today, it's tough to put people in a bubble, especially at a young age. And I think that kind of gets misinterpreted as well as what's young. When I think of young, I think of little league and under, even maybe sometimes 15 and under. And I think it's really easy, especially at that age, the way that the brain is constantly downloading information. Like I said, at that age, it's really important to not put them in a bubble, because as soon as you start, talking about pitching and being precise with mechanics, then I think it's really easy for them to get very robotic instead of just being free and being loose. Opinion on hopefully that made sense. Sorry, that was kind of broad, but it's a good question. Opinion on plyo care, I got some right there. I throw them a lot. What do you think the MLB should do? I have no idea, man. I'm not going to even be the guy that gives an opinion on it, just because I wouldn't even know what to say, to be completely honest. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You have to make a move. When it comes down to it, sports is not more important than, one's life. So on a cutter, do you concentrate more on movement or speed? I think it depends for me on the particular pitch. So there's sometimes, like I think I posted a few videos of me even saying, like, I was just trying to throw the piss out of that and kind of just identifying like what the pitch do when I did that. And then sometimes, again, the count's going to dictate a lot for me. I'm trying to, pinpoint it. Do you let the curveball slip out of your hand a little bit? No. So on the curveball, I'm pulling down on the seam. I think almost every pitch for me, every pitch besides like my two seam, I'm pulling on a seam. So I'm trying to create as tight a spin as possible. Not so much on the changeup, because like I said earlier, like I kind of get into a push habit a little bit. It's like kind of pulling down a window shade with that, right? But yeah, curveball, I'm pulling down on a seam. Slider, I'm pulling down on that seam. I'm just kind of creating a different axis. And then the cutter, it's a fastball, and I'm just kind of moving my wrist. Yeah, you're going to pronate naturally, man. How do you increase spin rate on a fastball? If I knew that, I would be a millionaire. Besides the logical answer of putting pine tar and bullfrog and rosin on your hands. How do I throw my change? I just do a four-seam changeup. So like you'll see this side of the horseshoe. I go right here. Just try to replicate my four-seam fastball as much as possible. I'm taking my index finger completely off of the baseball, and I'm putting my thumb there so I can kind of take it, like I said, just kind of hold it off the baseball. Yeah, so I've talked to him about that so many times that I want to do segments with him. I want to do podcasts with him, and he's not like me at all. My mom is way more like me, very flamboyant and exuberant, and dad's kind of low-key, a little mellow. That's a really good question, man. Spend more time trying to find batters' weaknesses. No, so that was a bad habit that I fell into early in my career, where I was like so accustomed to like the game within the game and analyzing scouting reports and analyzing hitters and seeing tendencies and all this, and I would love that stuff. And then I'd go out and pitch, and I would kind of just lose sight on like what made me good and what made me who I was. And I was pitching as if someone else was pitching, like it wasn't me. So at that moment forward, I was just like, hey, whatever, like these are my strengths. I'd rather get beat with my strengths than get beat with, something that's not a strength and I'm giving to him just because it's a weakness. Drop driving energy. Okay. Am I trying to play pro again? Yeah, I mean, I am. If I had a nickel every time someone asked me that, it's kind of funny. But yeah, no, I am going to. Follow New England? No, Nebraska. What do you think is the best way to increase stamina while pitching? So make sure that your throwing mechanics are dialed in. Make sure that you're in shape, that your body's able to handle the load of throwing. Make sure your mechanics don't vary when you get tired, and increase throwing volume, man. That doesn't just happen on the bullpen mounds or the game mounds or whatever. Like that starts in your catch play. That starts, in the weight room, in the training room. All of that stuff has something to do with it. Best advice for high school pitchers going to a D1 college? Yeah, I think my best advice would be, identify who you are and stick to those guns. Obviously, you're going to make, changes along the way, and you're going to adjust along the way. But, it's really important for you to have an identity, and you to really know yourself going into a new program. And it's tough because, again, I speak from personal experience going into a new organization or a new team without really having an idea of what I do well and what I don't, and who I like, stuff like that. And then they try to mold you to somebody else that's not necessarily a comfort factor for you. Best advice for a gay pitcher? Keep being you, man. Opinion on long distance running? I don't think it's necessary. I think there's, obviously this sparks a really, really wide open debate, but, I've been a guy early in my career, I used to run all the time. I actually still enjoy, like, running. I don't know if that sounds weird or not. I enjoy like the euphoria, if that's a word, of running, that runner's high, if you will. But I just don't think it's needed. I think people always talk about like, oh, well, it gets you in shape and it builds your stamina. Yeah, well, so does throwing. So does stuff in the weight room. So does sprints. So who knows? How to improve the lead leg block. So I think that's another misconception as far as like things to work on in the pitching delivery is the lead leg block is a byproduct of being efficient in the initial parts of the delivery. I think if you're efficient and you're rotating on time and certain parts of your body are in right positions as you come into front foot plant, then it's just going to happen naturally and you won't even have to think about it. It's just a byproduct. I don't like the wingtail gloves, man. I've always been the same guy. I've always been a finger condom on the index, 2 over, 1 out. I spread like that. Kind of done that for a really, really long time. And, just kind of stick to it. My favorite glove is the one that I throw most of my bullpens with. It's 2-piece, 12 1/4. Pro Preferred. It's the one that has black on the inside, red webbing, and then tan on the outside. When am I coming back to Omaha? I don't know. I saw it was like snowing there the other day, so I'm out on that. Is it hard to throw 90? Yeah, I mean, it is, right? Like, it is. Don't think it's not. I mean, like, think about all of the people in the world, right? And then think about like the small percentage of the individuals that could throw a baseball 90 miles an hour. Like, not that many, dude. It's impressive. But, I at the same time, like, don't think it's one of those things that's such an unattainable goal, because it's not, man. You put in the work and, you put yourself in the best possible situation to accomplish your goals, man. Like, you'll give yourself a good opportunity to do that. What's a dating life? I'll tell you what, man. This thing doesn't let me down. Great relationship. Trying to go from club ball to varsity and their recruiting being shut down for the spring because of coronavirus. How do I go about grabbing their attention? That's a really good question, man. I think your opportunity or your moment's going to come and you need to be ready for it. Like, this thing's going to pass. Seasons are going to get back going. And, the individuals that spent the time during this down period and worked their tail off and again, put themselves in a good position coming back, those are going to be the ones that make a really good impression. So I would just encourage you to do that. I've used Rawlings Primo. When I was 17, those were like the hotness. You picked up the DK ball, huh? Attaboy. Hopefully you used my discount code. If you didn't, then I'm not going to give you any advice on it. I didn't see the contralateral one. How can I get better? Work hard. Get off the couch. Stop playing video games. Advice for shorter people? Is that what it was? Gosh, dang, I can't. Sorry. I felt like the questions used to be a little bit longer. What would you do your senior night in school with a good team and you're getting looks, but your season just got canceled like me? Again, I just say, control what you can control. Keep working hard. Just because the season got canceled doesn't mean you're never going to play ball again. Like, put yourself, again, man, I know I sound like a broken record, but it holds true. Just keep checking those boxes of what you need to do to be the best baseball player you can be. Shoulder impingement type issue coming off small tears. What do you suggest shoulder work-wise? Dude, that's tough, man. Anytime that you talk about like injury stuff, physical therapy, I try to avoid that. I'm just a ball player, dude. I don't want to get into the realm of PT or licensed therapists and all that stuff. It's slippery slope. Mental strength, tools. Okay, yeah. I think experience. I think you go through things in life, in the game of baseball or whatever, and they mold your character, and you at the end of the day, you have the power to decide how you respond to that. And I know it's way easier said than done, but I was a guy that, like 2013 was my worst year ever. I didn't know where the ball was going. I was throwing 80 poo. I was on the verge of getting released, but I came out the other end because I chose that I wasn't going to let that define me. I chose that I was going to find a way, whatever that way was, to freaking be better. Is it really true you have to be loose to throw hard? Yeah, no, I think the arm, like scientifically has to be loose. Like as soon as you really like tense your arm, it's not gonna get that whip that it needs to get. Kopech, yeah, I just did a breakdown on him. So there were some questions I totally forgot that I want to get to. Whoa, opinion on cheat meals. I'll crush. I'm actually on a 2-day fast right now, so that's cool. I answered that one. So how many bullpens do I throw? So this was a question that came up in one of the comments, I think, of one of my videos. So I'm planning on being a starter for the season. So then it was about building up my volume. So what I did was every 3 days I toted up, with the first bullpen of the week being like a more of a side session where it was like 20, 25 pitches. I'm calling them out. I'm working on, certain pitch design stuff, and then, so on and so forth. And then that second bullpen of my week, I was simulating, right? So I do my long toss, I do my pull downs, I do my flat, and then I would do like, a pre-game type session. I'd go and take a rest, come back out, sim game, inning, and so on and so forth. But then the weather got terrible, and then I just decided to take, a few weeks off. Wow. So, will I ever cut my beard? Yeah, so I made a pact with myself that I wasn't going to cut it until I got into a game. Someone says, can I get a glove deal? I had a glove deal my first 5 years, and then they cut me. Apparently you have to do well. Well, there was like a bunch of questions that I wanted to get to. Now I can't even see them. So yeah, this is another one of those things, man, when it comes down to like control the controllables, right? So obviously we're all dealt certain cards, and sometimes those certain cards suck balls. But it's on us to like not make excuses and get better. Just because the gym is closed doesn't mean you can't go out and get a workout in, whether it be body weight, find something heavy. The other day I went and filled 5-gallon jugs of water. They were super heavy, but then I decided to hold the waters and do like a lunge variation, and got a freaking lower body workout in. So it's like little things like that. It always kind of comes back to this idea of, how bad do you want it, right? Like, how bad do you want to get better? You can sit there and talk, and I do this a lot too, man. I'm human. Sit there and talk a lot about, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and I really want to be successful, and I really want to throw harder, I really want to do this and that, but then it's like your actions are not matching up with that. So, show me. I guess that's what it comes down to. How bad do you want it? How do you get better on long toss? I think that's a thing that you just gotta do. Again, there's no secret to it. At least not for me. Like, long toss is so much fun because it's such a challenge. And it's like every time you go out, it's kind of like that new challenge of, how far am I gonna throw it? You kind of can like pick out certain things on the field or whatever and say, I'm going to throw it to there, and last week I threw it to there. And then I think once you kind of challenge yourself with that, you just start gradually getting better and better and better, and it kind of just holds true for me. I was actually going to buy that Stalker radar gun that did the spin rate, but then I was like, why would I spend an extra $1,000 on something that I have all of these devices that give me that already? Best equipment for a home gym, I'd say kettlebells. Kettlebells are probably going to be your best bang for your buck. They're awesome. They're functional. You can carry them around. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I'm big on clubs. So I got, how do I flip this? I got like all my clubs over there. So, biased. But if you want any of those, exercise tools, training tools, let me know. I have discounts on a lot of those. Best drill to get rid of trail leg flexion. That's a really good question. And we see that a lot, that common breakdown of guys that lack the trunk stability to really produce mass amounts of force throughout their body and elongate that back leg. I would say to do the opposite of throwing on a slope, right? Throwing uphill. I made a post about it a few days ago of like putting your body into a position where you're forcing that action, you're forcing that force production and transfer to go through. And then again, it's just those motor control patterns that we're trying to instill, and the more of those drill variations and progressions that we can do in those types of settings, your brain will just download that The rest is history. Yeah. Did I answer this? I think I made a story post about it, but yeah, if I know a lot of people's seasons are banged right now, but if you do want to, get better, sign up for an analysis, go to the link in my Instagram bio, click it, and you'll see it in the menu tab. There's my services, pitching mechanics analysis. There's a couple options for you. I'm actually really, really busy. There's been a lot of signups these last few days, but I love doing those. Love helping people out. So it's a good option if you're into that and you need some advice on where to progress with your delivery. Okay, so after I get off this live, I'm going to make a post on movement capacity and the effect on the pitching delivery. So this kind of goes hand in hand with, I guess, with flexibility and velocity. But I'm going to show you guys, and there's a breakdown on my website right now as well, on how your ability to move through time and space affects your pitching delivery. Just the way that the brain signals to the body on what movements you're lacking and positions that you can't get into. Appreciate that, Josh, dude. Thank you so much. Much love, man. All right, I'm going to finish my throwing. Love you guys. God bless. As always, stay locked in. And anything I can do to help, emails always work best. See you, dudes.